Yeah, welcome back to Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp for, on this route, the end of the Blue Moon arc of the campaign. If you do things on the max route, Grid actually becomes the final boss of this arc. The Andy route is a little different. You forgot that was, well, I mean, actually, you know, since every turn's a literal day, that probably was a while ago when Nell said that. Okay, in the original, this was a max-locked mission, but I don't know if that is the case in this version or not. I suppose we'll find out. Mission 10, History Lesson. Old friends clash on the battlefield and old wounds are revealed. Yeah, we get a little bit more of an emotional finale on this route. I suppose it kind of makes sense since I think the game kind of leads you towards going this path, and I like to treat this path as being canon, because, you know, picking Max for Max Strikes makes perfect sense. Oh, yep, no character select. We have to do this as Max. I would have chosen Max anyway, but that's good to know. Yeah, Max has absolutely got a score to settle this time. Also, there is a 2 HP transport copter out there? I'm looking at a map of this, map in the original, and that wasn't there. So that's interesting. Oh, this must be a... Oh, I think I see where this is going.
Do you need me to explain?
Yeah, I wondered if we get this, since I was looking at that map, and this is the first map of Advance Wars 1 where we have cruisers. On this route, at least. So, we didn't see cruisers in the early Max Strikes mission, and I mentioned back then they are a very awkward unit, and we're about to find out why. They're a situational counter unit. They only work against submarines and air units, and they're devastating to both of them, but they can't shoot anything else. Well, actually, I'll explain in a little bit. Cruisers are less good against air units than you might think. But they are pretty much anti-sub units. Essentially, cruisers are like meant to escort battleships, because in the triangle, like, subs beat battleships, cruisers beat subs, and battleships beat cruisers. So yeah, they are kind of meant as escorts. Yeah, here they are, cruisers. They have a move of 6 in their naval units, but they do get slowed down by reefs. Vision of 3, which is okay in Fog of War. And as you can see there, the game's probably going to explain this soon anyway, but yeah, a weird aspect of cruisers is that they can carry copters. It's a thing that doesn't come into play in a lot of situations, but it can sometimes be useful. So they use anti-sub missiles for their first weapon. Now, cruisers did get buffed in Dual Strike. In Dual Strike, they made it so that cruiser missiles could also shoot other ships. Not for very good damage, but at least it was better than only being able to attack subs. Then they have an anti-air gun. Now, this anti-air gun actually does have an animation coded in of it pointing forwards, so there are implications that they maybe planned to let it be able to attack other units than air ones, but then they decided, no, for some reason. It's really good against copters. They can shoot down entire copter units in one attack. This is both a good and a bad thing, though. And also... yeah, I seem to remember that, like, the original description of this said, cruisers' anti-air guns are fair against planes. And I was like, what? That's a weird way to describe it. But they only do, like, 50% damage to fighters and bombers. And bombers devastate cruisers if they strike first, and they have better movement. So, the real problem with cruisers, though, is that they are incredibly flimsy against battlecopters defensively. Now, Dual Strike did fix this, and made them very bulky against battlecopters, but it's really dumb that an anti-air unit is weak against battlecopters. It's another one of those things. Cruisers they cost a lot as well, like, they're a pretty expensive unit, so in general, cruisers are not great, but in maps where you're given cruisers, there are usually tons of enemy subs to fight, and also, subs are going to be useful on this map, because as you can see here, they have 5 vision in Fog of War thanks to their periscopes, so, very, very useful units to have around in fog maps. So yeah, we're going to be going for the reef, and yep, enemies won't be able to see you in Fog of War. This is kind of the first map where that's really relevant, so let's hit that cruiser, well, hit that sub in the face, and because we're max and cruisers are a direct combat unit, we get the power of brokenness. So Grit's already regretting picking a fight with us.
Yeah.
Haha, Pokemon logic, super effective. I forget if you even got a tutorial for this in the original game. I think they vaguely mentioned it in Black Hole Rising, but you weren't required to use it. And this also means that cruisers can sometimes act as makeshift landers if you don't have any landers around, because you can load infantry in a transport copter and then load the transport copter in the cruiser. Of course, it'll take like 2 full turns to unload the infantry in that case, but it's better than nothing. Yep, of course. And yeah, this is actually kind of interesting. This is something that I'm glad they're telling you, because in the original game, I don't think they ever explained this. That, cruisers resupply copters while they're loaded. But, again, it's like, you'll almost never see this happen, but it's funny when it does. Well, I mean, that's pretty much how I played, Sniper. So, I do know that in this map, there is a battleship covering the HQ. And remember what I said earlier about how terrifying Grit battleships are? That's a thing that exists that we're going to have to watch out for. But also, there are artillery and rockets in these woods around here. They're not in a position to cover the HQ just yet, unless Grit decides to move them. But the main thing here is I want to keep my subs alive. I do believe there is an enemy cruiser somewhere in the vicinity. However, if I dive the sub, the cruiser will not be able to see it unless it goes adjacent. And because the AI no longer cheats in Fog of War, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now, I'm kind of want to ignore this island here. Like, you don't really want to go there unless you specifically have to kill this tank and one other thing. Although I believe there might be an artillery on this island, and it might potentially snipe ships when Grit's power is active, so that's also good to know. But here, I sort of want to use my subs to scout the shoreline, while I don't even need to dive the sub to hide it here, because there is a couple of infantry and some artillery up here. I don't want to leave too many units behind to defend, but I do want to make sure that my main force gets on one of these landers and starts inching their way towards this HQ. But again, my other goal is to make sure that I escort a submarine up here with the cruiser to blast this battleship, because while the battleship is still alive, I'm not capturing this HQ. So okay then. Which of these landers should I be using? I don't like losing medium tanks here, especially since this is a pre-deployed map, so I can't build anything new here. So, in a sense, I'd rather keep the mechs back behind to defend. I sort of want to keep one medium tank around. So, alright, let's put an infantry in there, and let's put a single medium tank in there. But we need to make sure that this lander does not die. Because unlike subs, the landers can't dive under, which means that, yeah, we've got to be extremely cautious. So this guy is going to go down here and... Aha! Okay, there's a recon here. That's probably providing him some vision. So even though this sub is submerged, Grit can see it because there's a unit adjacent. But he won't be able to actually shoot it unless there's a cruiser in there. If there's a cruiser in there, I'm probably going to restart this mission, because then this sub will die. I mean, it's Grit, so it's a minus 20% attack power cruiser, but it's still not something that you want, because I need to keep my subs alive here. Not so much for the damage, but mostly for the vision. I do have this second lander, but again, I do sort of want to... I'm going to have the recon here act as a sneaky forward scout and just be stealthed in the woods while also... Oh, there's an APC here too. You can also do a thing where you load an infantry and APC and then put the APC in the lander to try and get more out of the lander. Although it's nowhere near stuffing war elephants onto a transport ship levels of hilarity that you can do in Age of Empires 2. Like, there is I think, an awkward zombie comic about stuffing war elephants into a battering ram. You actually can't do that in Age of Empires, so I'm pretty sure they did take that into account. War elephants can't fit in battering rams, only foot soldiers.
Reckon I best get started.
He's still not happy about this. Speaking of which, I heard rumors in... Hi there, Cruiser. Well, that sucks. Yeah, the Cruiser scouted me. At the very least, this is less bad than the Cruiser getting the first strike on the sub. Yeah, see, Max is still quite happy about this. And this is the problem as well with naval combat, because naval units are expensive, and that means Grid already has his power, and that means the battleship over here is suddenly gonna... that's bad. So I think he just put some things in there, but anyway. Now, remember when I talked about the triangle? Yeah, battleships beat cruisers in that triangle. I can knock that sub down, but I would probably rather use my cruiser to do that. At the same time, though. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world if I lose the cruiser, though, because I don't think Grid has a whole lot of subs. But now that his power meter is full, now is probably a good time to pile in. Though I will lose 2 units if the battleship shoots down my cruiser right now. Okay. Oh, well, again, that's mostly just Max. Also, yeah, cruisers are very resistant against subs. They really should have been resistant against air units, though. Just saying. Like, I don't see... It's just one of those things about this game that I really don't get. It's just like... Oh, hey, let's make cruisers an anti-air unit, except for some reason copters do really, really good damage to them. Like, it's borderline, like, super effective damage, too, so I don't even get why they would... It's really dumb. I really want to try and scout out exactly where that battleship is, just so I can figure out how screwed I am. At least my power is getting close, and also, Max Force is gonna actually put me within range of that beach now that I think about it. Also, I pretty much only need 2 kills in a single turn for the perfect power score. How do I do this? I mean, there's beaches up here, but I'm not really going to use them. And I really don't want to put anyone on that central island, because the only thing there is... oh, yeah, I have a second sub here. Almost forgot about you. And it has still dove, which means that I can go over here and use these to scout and not worry about it getting hit by stuff. Unless there's, like, another cruiser back here. Really hope there isn't another cruiser back there. Just trying to think whether I destroy that cruiser or whether I attempt to scout the battleship. Also, that lander there, I don't know if it has anything in it. In fact, it might actually have some artillery in it. But if he unloads in this turn, they won't be able to shoot. I'm just trying to see how I do this. I may end up regretting this, but I'm going to finish the cruiser. Okay, I like how the ships actually sink in these animations. In the original game, like, the ships would just move backwards and then just sink on the map animation. It was just kind of funny. I think they did change that. I think actually in Days of Ruin, you see the ships, like, literally break in half when they're destroyed, which is admittedly kind of cool. But, okay, that was a good luck roll. Question, though. Yeah, this is actually very strange. You know what, I'm going to do something even stranger. I'm going to scout this forest with a lander. Yep, there's something in there. And I'm actually going to stop my capturing here to... I could have scouted with the APC. That was dumb. Oh well. How about you go up here, unload that guy, and see if I... Nope, there was not an artillery in there. I was hoping there would be, but there is... Oh, I'm a max medium tank. I one-shot regular tanks even when they're in forests. Yeah. And then, you know, this is just kind of how it goes with Advance Wars 1 Max. I think the only reason they didn't nerf him is because it would have thrown off the balance of the first game's single player if they'd done that. Because these maps really were designed with Advance Wars 1 Max's power level in mind. By the way, you can press L and R to cycle through units that haven't acted, just like in Fire Emblem. Oh dear. Oh, no, I don't think he's using it yet. He must not have anything in range. Oh, well, he does have one artillery in range of something. But yeah, because Grit's artillery don't actually have, okay, there's stuff moving down there. You gotta pay attention to where the camera pans during Fog of War to give you an idea of where things are. But yeah, there's stuff moving down in that area, because Grit doesn't have a firepower bonus on indirects, only range, before he uses power, that is. I'm pretty sure the artillery has to be there. So yeah, again, I need to scout that battleship, like, right now. Okay, it's all the way over there. That's further than I expected. But it is still covering the HQ, and now I can see exactly how far it can shoot when Grit uses his snipe attack, which is, not quite as far as I expected. And this beach here is actually safe, but neither of the tiles on the other side of the beach are. So now is the time when I move in my submarines. Cruiser. What is the cruiser gonna do? Well, I mean, technically speaking, yep, I can use the cruiser to scout that artillery. It's kind of funny when you have woods right next to sea terrain and you can use, like, naval units to scout like this. Also funny if you have a reef right next to land and you can do the opposite. Again, max Y. In fact, speaking of max Y, there may be a second artillery up here. But yeah, even with Max's bad indirects, he's still pretty solid with battleships. Battleships are pretty good under anyone's command. Yeah. I don't want to get too cocky here, but I'm feeling quite good about this map. But then again, I was about the last one too, and then I got wrecked. Ah, there it is. Oh, so the cruiser's going to get shot. This, I mean, that could bait out snipe attack, though. Also, definitely got to be careful, because there's definitely rockets and stuff around there as well. If I bait out snipe attack, I don't think I've lost anything yet, but that thing will die if, and I'll lose 2 units instead of 1. If I do this, though, he won't actually be able to see this medium tank and shoot it with the artillery anymore. And now, I mean, okay, this means either the APC dies or the cruiser dies, but not both. And I suppose we'll end up finding out which one it is. I'm hoping it's the APC, but I'm not counting on it. And yeah, I absolutely cannot move in this turn because he has that. But I am in range of the shoreline right now. But yeah, my lander is totally hidden. Also, oh, that sub's down there. Not doing anything right now. So I suppose you can just scout around. Oh, there is... Oh, it's just a regular tank. It's not a medium tank. That's mostly fine. Again, keep an eye on your sub fuel, because I don't want to botch the technique rating by having my subs just sink and die. That would be really embarrassing.
Don't get me all riled up.
Oh, that's another one of Grit's classic power quotes.
Snipe attack.
Although I remember seeing it a lot more in the second game. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I baited that out, and he's probably going to go for the cruiser. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure he can't see the cruiser. So, I should not have put this APC there at all. Because, yeah, I kind of forget that indirects have bad vision. That's kind of one of the things with Grit in... Interesting. One of the things with Grit in Fog of War is that, well, I got my power, though. But the question is my power going to actually put this sub in range? It's not. It's only a +1 move in the first game.
You're gonna get hurt.
But given Max, I almost wonder if this 6 HP sub is going to one-shot that battleship. I would not be surprised if that actually was the case. Also, even though it effectively, like, makes you think that Max is getting a, oh, wow, that's way less than I expected. I suppose he's got the 10% defense boost, but it says that, like, Max is getting, like, a total of a 180% firepower, 85%. It's actually 187%, and the reason for that is a strange interaction between, the reason for that is a very strange interaction between the 10% firepower and defense bonus and the actual bonus that the power itself is giving you. So what the 10% firepower and defense boost actually is, instead of being a literal 10% firepower and defense bonus, it's actually a global 1.1 times multiplier to your damage dealt and a 0.9 times multiplier to your damage taken. And even though that sounds like the same thing, it's actually not, because that is applied after the power boost and after your day-to-day effect, which means that Max is getting his normal 50% boost, the extra 35% on top of that, like the extra on top of that, and then he's getting the 1.1 times multiplier, so it actually ends up being about 187%. So yeah, that's a thing that happens in this game. Sucks that I can't actually kill this battleship. And it's only day 4, though. I really don't think I need to unload my, goodbye. Max. Yeah, Max just does this. It's just a thing that he does. It's how he rolls. But okay, then. I mean, that battleship is dead next turn anyway, but at the same time, my subs aren't really useful for much else, so I might as well corner that battleship with the subs. Yeah, I am in no hurry to unload just yet, although if I do put the lander on that beach, I'm pretty sure that tank is going to attack it. Though, I may actually be able to use that to my advantage. Because I sort of... Okay, how about... Although, if I don't unload the infantry now, I'm going to actually be losing a lot of turns later. Yeah, I'm not going to unload the infantry yet. So I sort of want to bait that tank into coming towards me so I can get rid of it, and then, yeah, he's got stuff on that central island. I really don't need to fight anything on that island. And I made sure that none of his infantry got through here, because otherwise they would be trying to get my HQ. And meanwhile, I'm just going to put this cruiser here where no one will find it. Yeah, speaking of putting your naval units in reefs where no one will ever find them... Yep, that plan failed miserably. Remember that for later, because it's... I was scared that was a rocket for a second, but no. That will be relevant in a later map. Something's down there moving. Again, I hope it's not a rocket. Okay, this sub... Oh, that sub is getting dangerously close to running out of fuel. So I'm going to need to rise with these subs soon, and I also really want to make sure that I get that HQ before the subs all sink and ruin my technique rating. It's kind of funny that my subs seem to be more in danger from my own hubris than from the actual enemy units here. It's kind of interesting how much easier this mission is feeling to me than the previous one, where you actually had to deploy units, but I guess Blizzard Battle is sort of a taste of how Advance Wars 2 works for the most part. And yeah, to save on fuel, the sub's going to go here and rise. It's still hidden. It's just not destroying itself right now. And well, I mean, if the second medium tank wants to come along, it can. You're fully welcome to join the party right now. And battleship's gonna stay there, I think. Probably need to use one of my subs to just scout that just in case. I'm pretty sure it's like there's like an artillery there and a rocket there. There's nothing like particularly huge right now, but I can attempt to cover the area around the HQ there. And just, why not? For good measure. So we'll be doing this on day 7, it looks like. Assuming no shenanigans happen. Suddenly this turned into Fire Emblem and then ambush spawning reinforcements happen. But yeah, turning off capture animations still means the HQ animation will keep going. Oh no, I don't want to rise you there, just in case there's a rocket that can reach you. Oh, nothing in that one. Okay, that's fine then. So this sub can just go Rise. Just gotta make sure I keep these subs alive. How many units have I... Oh, I believe all I've lost is that one APC, which I was gonna say, like, is a bad thing, and then I just realized, like, it got me max force, so kinda helped in the end, sadly. And Battleship goes into Reef for good measure. So let me just, yep, there's an artillery there. Which also means that he can see this medium tank, which means if there's a rocket there, it's getting hit, but, oh well, it's probably not gonna die. Oh, yeah, again, finishing captures for good measure, just to hear those cheers. Yep, definitely a rocket down there. So yeah, here's the kind of sad thing is, this may or may not be the last time we hear this song in the campaign mode, because this is the end of the Blue Moon arc, which means it's the last time we're fighting Grit. Which is a good thing, because we don't really want to fight Grit. Grit's just like that, yeah, he's the... I suppose he's sort of the Camus of this arc. And yes, the Fire Emblem character's name is pronounced that way. But yeah, he's just the reluctant guy who he just happens to be on the other side. He doesn't really have any hard feelings towards you, which, like, from what I can tell from some, like, actual World War history, there have really been some generals who had relationships like this. Like, they didn't really feel any ill will towards who they were fighting, and they just did it because it was their job, and they're on opposite sides. Okay, and that means I should just be able to... Yeah, I paid, like, $80 for this controller. It better not be, failing on me right now. Yeah, she wants to take this one. Is she concerned that he's going to screw up the negotiations, or is there another motive in play here? Oh, okay. Yeah, as a fan of the second game, this is the Blue Moon theme from the second game. So that's a cool use of it.
Yep. See you around, Nell.
Goodbye, Grit.
Cue unfitting victory music!
Grit.
But yeah, we find out a bit more about Grit in the second game. He doesn't really care about things like territory or who he's working for. He just kind of does what he wants. But it's also implied that there was a bit of a love triangle between Grit, Max, and Nell, and Grit left the Orange Star Army because he didn't want to get in the way of that, and all those complications. But then, unfortunately, he just so happens to end up working for a country that then declared war on Orange Star, so whoops. Yeah, that went badly, and we'll see where Grit ends up soon enough. In fact, I'm curious as to whether this will unlock him from Hachi's shop. Because I know that taking this route put you on the path to unlocking Grit as a playable character in the original Advance Wars 1. So, let me just see what Hachi says here. Yep, I knew it! I knew that! Okay, yeah, that's cool. I thought it would work this way, because in the original what would happen is... Okay, so this is a bit of a slight spoiler, but I know it works differently in Reboot Camp now. In the original, if you took this route, you would get Grit as one of your 2 allies in the final battle. And it was guaranteed. There were no other options. The Andy route actually has a bit of a variation as to who can show up to help you, there. But if you take the Max route, at Max Strikes, you always get Grit in the final battle. And you would have to play all the way to the end of the campaign with Grit as your ally in the final battle, and then you would unlock him for purchase at the shop. But in this one, they just cut to the chase, and now you have access to Grit. So, that's cool. In Advance Wars 2, you have to complete the Blue Moon section of the campaign to unlock Red for purchase, and I wonder if that's also a way to unlock him here if you were to play 2's campaign first. But anyway, this Root of the Blue Moon arc is over, and next time we will be meeting the final member of the Orange Star crew.